Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we visit the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area home of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
You've got the wrong tri-state area, Mr. Donovan. I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Gerald Christopher Marcus. Yes, Marcus. That's Marcus, the Cardinal anointed me Marcus Porter.
And we are joined by our old friend from many movies past, our old buddy Steve Kreuch. Welcome back, Steve.
Hey.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, totally. Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey.
Oh, Indy always takes us to such fabulous locales.
He does. like New York City and Connecticut or New Jersey or something. No one knows. No one knows.
I'd say, actually, I do know. So,
okay.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
I got my suspicions. All right. Well, this is minute 23, as you can tell. And minute 23 begins with Indy telling Donovan he's got the wrong Jones. And it ends with Indiana Jones, world-famous archaeologist, making a discovery in his pocket.
So is Indy, as soon as he tells Donovan he's got the wrong Jones, he picks up his hat. Is he really going to walk? Like, is he just really not interested in this Grail story?
That was great. I'm
That's
bored.
really amazing.
Bye.
Yeah. Later, man.
Thanks
Not
for the
interested.
champagne.
Yeah.
Greatest treasure in all of history? Nah.
Yeah, whatever.
Nah.
Mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
Or is it just like hearing about his dad makes him angry and he's like, I'm out of here. Don't talk about my dad.
Fantastic party. Adios.
The guests are waiting.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's, once it's like somebody says, what about the Holy Grail? He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had enough of the Holy Grail. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I grew up with that stupid thing.
He says, his dad is the professor that nobody wants to get. And you're starting to think, well, Indy must think he's the dad that no son wants to get.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of,
Yeah.
he just doesn't want to hit. Look, I know, continuing that, I know it's a little early, but can I please get a sad bell?
Okay.
They're always there for you, Gerry.
We learn here in minute 23 that Indiana Jones lives a very, very lonely life. I mean, he finds out that his father is missing from a complete stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a character study, do you guys think that that's by design? Like imagine the final warehouse shot in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that what people in the world looks like to Indiana Jones?
Just this vast, dark sea of
Yeah,
mysteries.
just like
Faceless.
Yes.
Yeah. Nothing.
like just exactly things he just wants to keep crated up and just kind of walk like a straight path through them and not touch, not have to deal with that. He actually sounds a lot like you, Tom Taylor.
Sure. This is my corner of the elevator. Everybody leave me alone.
Exactly. And so it made me think, alone?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Love it.
He's just
Has he gone his entire life always feeling like he was the wrong Dr. Jones?
Oh. Yeah, even after he became a doctor finally. He was a big grown-up man with big boy pants and a doctorate. And he's like, he's the wrong Jones. The wrong Dr. Jones.
yeah.
I'm always the wrong Jones.
That's sad.
It's
That is sad.
such a strange he's so dispassionate about the whole thing, the Holy Grail, and he's just like, nope, nah, and it's just compared to Raiders, it's just so different.
Yeah, he was turned on in Raiders. He was like, oh my God, Tannis?
Exactly.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Exactly. And he was turned on in the room with Porkins.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, he's way into this.
He was way into the Grail at first. Like when he first reads the tablet, for a minute, he's way into the Grail. He's like, the cup that Christ drank out.
Yeah,
and you
it's
see he's
weird.
really interested. And then he kind of, when he starts thinking about his dad, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
I forgot I hate the Grail. It's boring.
Yeah.
It sounds like math homework, and it sounds like I don't get to go do
Exactly.
stuff, and my friends can't come over, and
I
yeah.
want to
Yeah.
go play Xbox. Yeah.
I have to recite the Grail in Greek
Yeah.
backwards.
And being chased by criminals, but I have to count to 10 in Greek, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Grail means Dad won't go play ball with me.
Yeah.
Aw.
exactly.
Cats in the Grail and the
I
silver
mean-
spoon.
Oh,
And when I put down the Grail, it occurred to me.
Oh my god.
Now somebody's got to do the whole Cats in the Cradle song about Indy and Henry.
oh man.
Found the cross of Coronado just the other day.
My dad's in Indy 3. Oh my god.
Oh boy. Do you think that's why he's like such a brutish clod archaeologist? Like, do you think that his dad had such a love of history and a devotion to it, and he's kind of like, oh yeah, history, whatever, I'm gonna wipe my fingers on it.
Maybe.
Yeah, it comes up kind of a little bit later in the minute where he says, my dad wasn't a field man.
Right. Not like
Yeah.
me. I'm a field man. I get to
Yeah.
break stuff.
Yeah. Is that wait? Does he say that he says he wasn't a bookworm? He was. I thought he said he was.
No, he says my dad wasn't a field man. He was more of a
Yeah.
bookworm.
He says he's an academic, a bookworm. He's
Yeah.
not a field man.
Oh, I thought he said my dad's a bookworm. He's not a field worm. And I was like, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. Oh, little field worm.
Does he know lowly worm?
We got another case though of kind of the person sending Indy on his quest sort of burying the lead. Like in this case,
Yeah.
Henry Jones is sort of like the missing kids in Temple of
Yeah.
Doom. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Holy Grail, Friar, markers, stuff, knights. Oh, and your dad's missing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Well,
you.
see, this was what's so crazy is, Marcus actually says that he's never seen Indy so concerned about his dad before, and then we see Indy just again very dispassionate about his missing father. He's unconcerned, and it's strange. But then I thought, if you think about Indiana Jones and all the things in his life that go missing, we have Tanis. You have the Mayapur kids. You have Joseph of Arimathea. You have his pistol, his Boy Scout troop when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll f you up. Like everything is disappearing all the time. So it's no big deal if his dad is missing.
Yeah. Although he's upset. I mean, he goes and grabs
Yeah.
Marcus and is freaking out.
He's hardly upset. He
Isn't. He is so used to. He's so used to walking into rooms that are tossed like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I do this?
And he's usually the one doing the tossing. I got a question though.
Yeah.
Whose friend is Marcus? Is Marcus Indy's friend or is Marcus Henry's friend?
I think he's his dad's friend, and then I think Indy works with him because he says, "I've known you your whole life."
Yeah. That's the impression I got.
So did Henry Sr. kind of get Marcus to keep an eye on Indy? Is that why Marcus follows Indy around now? Or did Indy and Marcus become buddies?
I think they've become buddies as Indy has worked.
Yeah.
Kind of worked because he's never actually there.
Yeah, because Uncle Marcus is a huge pushover and lets him get away with stuff.
It's just
Right.
it's just a strange dynamic. Like it's hard to imagine like my dad's best friend and then, then he and I become colleagues and he becomes my best friend.
Yeah. It's sort of a foreshadowing Indy and his dad both having sex with the same woman. It's exactly like that.
Well, I think I'm wondering is this, maybe did Indy and Marcus both get fired from Marshall College because they lost the Ark?
Can we not just talk about this? It's so
Okay, so-
bananas. So
Well,
bananas.
why? Because you're like, why is Marcus like? So his dad, Indy finds out his dad's missing, and he goes and he picks up Marcus,
Right.
and it's kind of strange because I mean, I don't know if you found out your dad was missing, you might just go.
Yeah, you might just race over there. Yeah.
Yeah, just race over. But
Well, no, Indy gets a ride.
That's
Indy doesn't
true.
drive.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't. Well, yeah, he got picked
Wow.
up
He doesn't
by
drive.
Donovan's
That's
guys,
true.
so he doesn't have a ride. Yeah.
Marcus drives him.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus's fine
Okay.
ride. If you watch as they exit,
Oh, nice.
to
Yeah.
Indy's gets out of the passenger seat on the right-hand side. So he needed a lift.
So does Indy call him up and he's like, you know what, man, I'm feeling really shaky. I'm having a tough time. Can you come pick me up? Or is Indy just like, hey, you want to go for a little drive?
It could be that Marcus just happened to be his Uber driver.
It could be.
Yeah.
Just on the side. Yeah. Oh, Indy.
Yeah, we don't really know what Marcus does.
By the way, this couple minutes here totally proves that, Marshall College or what have you is definitely East Coast.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, first of all, outside the window, and when Donovan's talking, you not only see in the minute before or the minute before that, you not only see kind of Central Park, but out of another window, you see the Empire State Building.
Yes. Check and check.
But Indy's not at Marshall College.
What's that?
Indy's not at Marshall College anymore, though.
See, this is what pisses me off about what is it, Barnett?
Barnett College.
Yeah, he's at Barnett
If
College.
Steve doesn't know, we found out somehow that Indiana Jones is not at Marshall College anymore, even though he's obviously in Marshall
Nor is
College.
Marcus.
They're identical.
Yeah.
But what the thing that, like, beyond it being so stupid in the movie is it makes it okay for Pete now to accept that they're on the East Coast without having to admit that Marshall College was on the East Coast. And it burns
They
me.
had to move him to a college on the East Coast so he could be near New York where his dad is.
He's already in New York, Pete.
Here's what
He
makes
was
it makes no
already
sense.
here.
Why does he have to? He wouldn't have to, like. Can you imagine going backwards, reverse engineering it? It's like, well, we need to have this scene with Donovan in New York City, and you're like, okay, why? And you're like, and so
it
what we
looks
have
cool.
to do is fire him from Marshall College because we know Marshall College isn't near New York City.
Yes, it is.
That is
God
that is
damn
not
it.
true.
And they had to move it to the side of the country that's going to be where you could take a direct flight to Venice.
Everyone knows back in the 30s there were no good colleges.
That's right.
in California.
Just a bunch of tumbleweeds and hayseeds. and
Right.
Let me ask Steve here. Did you know that Indy was no longer at Marshall?
No, because it's not apparent anywhere in this movie.
Because the movie goes out of its way to do the identical scene from Raiders of the
Right.
Lost Ark at
Yeah,
the same
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
And because we had never seen his office in Raiders,
Yeah.
you don't know that that's crappy room is what his office actually
Yeah.
Right.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other proof that this is like this might be Darien, Connecticut. I think this house that for Henry said, I think we pass it every day on like Mansfield Avenue.
Well, we learn actually where it is in the next minute.
Yeah.
We do, but
Yeah.
this house could not be more quintessential New
Yeah.
England. I mean, the Cape with the white picket fence, not a palm tree in sight.
Right.
Even the color of the sky is very New England.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because it was not filmed in New London, Connecticut, but in Old London, England.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Connecticut is in what? New England. It's basically England. It's just over here.
The funny thing is the suburb of London it's in is called Barnett.
Oh, really?
So like Barnett College.
So they had
really?
a sign, so they had to film it with their stupid cameras and confuse all of us.
Because they didn't know how to just fix it in post
Right.
back in the 80s.
I wonder, is that staggered white picket fence around Indy's dad's house? Like, do you think that's Indy's dad? Did he put that up there like he's playing medieval parapet? He's like, he's into medieval lore and literature.
Yeah.
He's just he built a little fort.
Sure. It's got a moat on the other side of it that you can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, medieval literature pays pretty well. That's a nice house. I think that's a big, nice house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot nicer than Indy's.
Yeah. I like Indy's house, though.
No, I do too, but this is like twice, 3 times
Yeah,
the size.
it's got an upstairs.
Yeah, I mean, suburbs like upstate New York or wherever this is might be cheaper than the Bay Area.
I'm still thinking about this though. Like, all right, so Indy gets who knows, maybe 90% of his money from selling these antiquities, right?
Uh-huh.
He's a grave robber, but
Yep.
his dad isn't an archaeologist.
Right.
Right.
Like, do you think his dad sells stuff to the museum too? Quote, the museum?
Donovan has that made up manuscript, so maybe he's selling fake manuscripts.
Yeah.
Well, also, his dad doesn't really do anything. He just works on the Grail script, so he's saving all his money. He can afford a place like this.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. No friends, no social life.
Yeah,
He eats like a
He doesn't
bird.
have to hop on a plane.
Yeah.
He eats like a bird.
This, by the way, the room that they walk into that has been so perfectly tossed.
Mm-hmm.
I would never search how is that efficient to find a tiny book? Just throwing everything, throwing everything around willy nilly. That is not. Wouldn't you want to try to be a little more methodical?
And then Marcus finds the mail. Like he's holding letters. And he's like, did they open his mail? His letters, looking for a book.
Well, how does he know they opened the mail though? Like, how does he know that Indy's dad didn't open the mail?
Well, it was that day's mail, wasn't it? Yeah.
But before he gets to the mail, the first thing Marcus does is insult Indy's dad. Like he's like, "What has the old fool gotten himself into now?" And it's a weird, like he gets super negative like right away.
It's like an old friend, pally, familiar thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, Pete, you're kind of a neatnik. I've been to your house, and if you were looking for like a book, maybe a diary or something like that, would you throw everything everywhere?
That would make your search harder, I would think.
Yeah,
exactly.
You have this guerrilla ransack that you just. Now, and the other thing I noticed is, like, you could walk into my place and you wouldn't think it had been ransacked
no,
at
Gerry,
all.
been robbed.
You'd be like, "Hey, Jer."
If you walked into Indy's dad's house, he'd be like, "Hey, Gerry, you cleaned the place up a little."
Exactly. It's
old
like,
fool.
Well, the other thing that they did was they worked up a sweat because the fan is on. They left a fan on.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
it's second
true.
53, and it's on throughout the rest of the scene. There is just a desk fan
Wasting
that
electricity.
has been absolutely.
I think they were playing Jenga because that bookshelf, they had to move those books very precisely to get it to lean without falling over like that. Like, it's amazing
Right.
that it's not falling
Yeah.
over.
They had some time to kill.
Does anybody else think it's weird that Indy's dad has a full-on stage curtain to open his living room?
And that the burglars closed it before they left.
Yeah.
This will get him. This will be dramatic.
He just likes it because he could, if he has a guest, he could just go showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Pete, did you notice what are the little icons around Indy's dad's fireplace?
Oh, I didn't notice the little icons. You mean the little...
The tiles?
Like
The
tiles?
tiles.
The quaint Dutch tiles.
Yeah, they're like, are they medieval Grail, bards and stuff?
That reminds me of Ebenezer Scrooge's fireplace in A Christmas Carol. It's described the same way.
They're little pictures of all the other immortals that Sean Connery has killed on his way to be the pilot.
Well, one of the guys has a gun, so they can't be that medieval. But they are, they do look kind of like Dutch farmers or something from...
Yeah.
Specifically Dutch.
Yeah, specifically Dutch.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty fancy house, though.
You know it's weird is I did one of those dirty things on the internet.
Uh-oh.
I looked up.
Anyway.
I went to I went to like the indie web fan whatever Jonesopedia or something.
He's sick.
Yeah, the next 5 minutes is just going to be one bleep.
Yeah, please. Kids, run from the room. Parents, hide. We'll try to get this over with as fast as we can.
It's like Urban Dictionary.
This this whole like Grail lore saga about how exactly Indy's dad wound up at this place, at this specific house in New York and the whole thing. It was like, 1912 they had the thing after the mom died or whatever. Then they moved back there to 1927, and then Indy has a sister, and then it went, all crazy.
What, are you dead serious?
It did. It gave me way too much. It told me,
Wait, Indy has a sister?
Nah, talked about Django Fett.
All right.
Yeah, like there's a little baby Greedo, and Marcus is Salah's cousin, and the whole thing.
Is that like the Luke with two U's?
Yeah, there's a clone of Indy
Yeah.
called Ind-E.
Well, in one of the
That's
scripts, his
ridiculous.
mom was still alive. Like in
Oh, yeah?
one of the scripts,
Really?
in one of the early ones, it was both of his parents were going to be alive.
They didn't want to have to find somebody with Harrison Ford's ears. Sorry. That's so stupid.
And then at some point, there was going to be a thing where Sean Connery sent Indy down into the basement because he was so scared of rats, and Indy had to kill a rat, like when he was a kid.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
So we've
Yeah.
dodged a few bullets.
Because there's rats later on, and Indy's dad doesn't like rats.
I thought at one point, they were looking for like a Katharine Hepburn type to be in this movie.
Yeah, that was the original Monkey King.
Oh yeah.
Because they were going to wind up in Africa,
right,
and there was
right.
like a Katharine Hepburn kind of heroine, and they were going to look for the Garden of the Immortal Peach.
I'll bet they were.
Yeah, I'll say, and you guys get mad at me for the internet being dirty.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Yeah, right. PG-13 for sure.
Yeah.
We have to be on Brody watch, or at least I am on Brody watch for every time Marcus shows up, because people, when you mention Last Crusade, they kind of go, "Oh, but what they did to Marcus, God bless it."
I'm that
He's so
person.
awesome, and he's such a
I was that person.
But I was that person too, and I think I said during our trailer episode, way at the beginning of this, that I think that's a little overblown. I think he's more solid than you think, and so I'm just going to check in every time we have a minute with him. And right now, Marcus is rock solid. He's like an awesome. He's exactly Marcus. There's nothing un-Marcus-ish about him.
I've actually been surprised myself about that.
Yeah.
But that's why it's a watch. That's why it's a watch.
It might become a warning in a little bit.
Yeah.
A critical hazard thing. Yeah. I think he would be a really good. Like he almost like his role for like the first part of this movie is like he's like a good Watson to like to Indy's Sherlock Holmes kind of. He's even got like the hat for it and everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
He'd be awesome in that kind of role.
Yeah, and I really like where they go with him in a couple minutes.
You know, when they pull back the curtain and they see the place has been ransacked, and Marcus goes, "Dear God," I wondered, like, is he calling on his buddy?
No. Next.
after Raiders.
Yeah, I that'll come up in the next minute, I think, because Indy will literally ask him, "Do you believe?" And so I think you're onto something, Jer.
Well, Brody's always been like, I mean, even in Raiders, he was like, he was the one who thought there might be something up with the arc that Indy shouldn't be glib about. Yeah.
He's just a great character that I think has not gotten his due.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Then you can go watch Trading Places, get a better fix. He says, Indy says he's in over his head. He's got like mumbling to himself as he's looking around the house, and he's worried about his dad who's like missing on the other side of the world. And I say the exact same thing about my dad when he's raking the yard. My dad, the yard's too big. You're old. You should not be doing this. You're in over your head. Go sit down.
Just get some yard guys, please.
Yes, it's not that hard.
It was the 30s. People were a lot tougher then.
That's right. They were.
And they would wear full tweed suits in a New England summer.
That's right. And not break a sweat.
No swamp ass in sight.
We get our first little glimpse of the floating Grail Knight painting. And I'll come back to that in a minute or two, but I'm curious, did Henry buy the original? Is this the original painting of that? Or did he have this painted? Or like, is this a copy?
I think buy might not be the right word.
Procure.
Yeah.
You think that's an original?
Yes.
I think it was a Christmas gift from his son.
Aw, trying to connect.
That he procured while
in Marrakesh.
Yes.
I don't know. Does anybody else have anything else for 23? Is this 23?
Yes.
Yes, 23.
No, I'm good.
Only one other thing.
Oh?
What's that, Jer? Oh my gosh.
This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Who tears a place limb from limb and then shuts the curtain?
See?
Well,
They're in sync.
I think we were talking a couple minutes ago about Donovan just loves surprises.
Yeah. He does feel surprises wiser. I'm going to keep making that joke. I don't care.
Yeah, and you get mad at me for dear God.
Also, I think the door to the place was unlocked, and that didn't seem suspicious.
Yeah.
Well, that's my whole point. What I brought up originally,
right.
like Indy could care less about his dad being missing. I mean, look, imagine you go over to your elder parents' house and the door's wide open and nobody's heard from him, and a stranger has told you that your father is missing. You know, you need to
Well, why are you
check,
saying that he's not worried about him?
Well, because they don't search any other rooms.
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
he's
he doesn't.
He's like, Dad.
He has
Dad.
to go upstairs.
I mean, imagine you think your dad's in over his head raking the leaves.
Yeah.
Like now your dad's
do.
missing in Venice, Italy. He's the project manager. I mean, it's strange. Indy just needs.
What should he be doing differently?
He should be frantic. He should be like racing around the
Yeah.
house like, Dad.
I think for Indy, this is frantic. I think this is how frantic he gets. Like normally he's like, Dad schmad. Now he's like, Dad. Oh my God, he's in over his head.
It's a very lonely life then.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
what I'm saying. You know, it's a very lonely life.
And this is not.
It is.
This is not. We are going to die. Like I think Indy can get a little excitable.
yeah, that's true.
This is not, there's a snake in the plane.
Right. Well, it's a different kind of panic. I think he's appropriately Indiana Jonesingly freaking out about his dad, who he's got a weird relationship with. To be fair.
Yeah.
My dad's a bookworm. Dad.
Yeah.
See, I think if you had
You kidnapped?
I think if you had a relationship where you were sort of estranged from your dad, you would freak out even more. Like, because he's like, oh my God, I haven't had a relationship with him for all these years. Now I'm really freaking out because I'll never have it.
See, I think he should have a minute, and it might be on this plane coming up, where he has a minute where he needs to check himself and rethink his life,
Maybe
his relationship with his father.
Sure.
Sure.
Is that what you do on airplanes, Gerry? Sort of reconnect?
Sort out your daddy issues?
Yeah. You're right, Tommy. I'll give that to you. He is. They do a good job of. Here's a guy who has not a good relationship with his father. He just doesn't care.
Yeah. And that's probably part of his reaction now. Is like he's wrestling with that a little bit, maybe.
He actually, I don't know if he cares about anything in this movie yet at all. Again, I mean, he doesn't care about his students. He doesn't care about his job. He doesn't care about the Grail. He doesn't care about his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also doesn't care about mail, because as we see in the next minute, when he pulls this thing out, he's been carrying around this piece of mail for hours. He hasn't bothered to open it at all.
Oh, I got this package from my dad. My dad's missing.
Someone sent me something. I like to open mail, especially when I know it's not a bill.
Yeah.
Right.
So to get something that is like that would be phenomenal. I would be super excited.
Yeah.
Need a book.
Yeah. Amazon delivered. Sweet.
It's nothing more magical.
No.
We've heard from Christy Porter. So, Steve, is there anything you want to share with the people? Any place that they can find you? Any place you're lurking? Anything you're doing that you want to share with us?
Well, first of all, don't look behind you, because I may be lurking.
Oh no, you weren't there this time.
No, I'm just I just want to promote the Indiana Jones Minute, which I'm appearing on around minute 23.
Oh, you'll have to let us know.
Yeah. You should join in for the whole ride. It's a whole movie. It's fantastic.
Awesome. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, you can find it on all your podcast tracking apps, or online at indianajonesminute.com, or you can even join the conversation with me and some other people at the Indiana Jones Listeners Crusade on the Facebooks or something.
Wow.
God, really?
Yeah.
Sounds
totally
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And I don't have to do the plugs now.
Yeah, you guys should totally check it out.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what? That was so awesome. You should come back tomorrow.
All right, fine. I'm free.
All right. Beautiful. We'll meet back here. Everybody out there, you please meet us back here tomorrow for minute 24 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Indy's a field worm.
Lowly!
Alone?